for that very well-researched introduction, and good afternoon. I'm so happy that I have this opportunity to speak with you, and I struggled. What topic will be interest to you, and still I'm debating. First of all, I want to thank you in public, as I come from originally South Korea, and many of you, I understand, are from Turkey. If that is the case, I need to officially thank you and all the citizens of Turkey. You know why? You know that, right? We are blood-related, country-to-country, life-saving relationship. During the Korean War, I don't know how many thousands of Turkish soldiers that came to defend South Korea. And unfortunately, the country is still divided, but at least the southern part of country is protected and flourishing. And for that, I want to thank you by taking this opportunity. And since this is a cultural group, I think I can talk about the aspects of the culture where I come from, South Korea, and then I became naturalized citizen here in the US. And as a first-generation immigrant, probably I can share some of the similar situations like you. How many of you are first-generation immigrant from another country or Turkey? I would say 2/3. So we can relate a lot of our experience in this country. Some aspects may be hardship, struggle, how to make a living. We can talk about the commonalities a lot. But as I stand here before you, since you invited Stephen Choi as a mayor of the city of Irvine, I would like to share some of my vision that I have presented through the speech, which was very important in February, that in my State of the City address, I introduced 3 initiatives. So one of them is my dream for building library. So I want to take my vision to many groups and opportunities as I have. So I focused upon that issue today. So how relevant it is, I'm not quite sure, but hopefully if you are Irvine residents, I will need your support, because the vision that I have is very important. And let me, before I begin that aspect, let me give you some brief background about me. As I stated, and then also very well-researched introduction gives you a summary. But I came to the U.S. as a Peace Corps language instructor. And I was looking for a job right after my military service in Korea. And I didn't know what that opportunity was, teaching Korean language. It turned out to be that was a Peace Corps volunteer so to get the training in Hawaii, and they needed instructors to teach language and culture. So I landed in Hilo, Hawaii. That was my first job. So my first paycheck was in US dollars. And then I was supposed to go back after 4 months of training period. And my roommate told me, hey, at that time I didn't have American first name Stephen. That's another story. Everybody called me since I was a librarian. Hey, Miss Choi, Miss Choi. I didn't want to become female from my status because 90% of librarians are females. So how can I tell my gender? So I tried to keep my same initial. So I looked through the dictionary and found Stephen might sound good. So I picked up the Stephen. So, hey, Stephen, hi, my brother. You know what, I'm going to Louisiana State to learn English. You know, it's very expensive to cross the Pacific Ocean in an airplane. So since we are here, let's go to Louisiana State, and then here's an application. So that led me, oh, that sounds good. So I turned in my application since there was not much to it, and they accepted. So learning English orientation program, that led me to Louisiana State. And then I studied the library science, and then worked in Arkansas, and I went to University of Pittsburgh for my PhD. And my PhD qualification brought to Southern California. USC gave me a job at the graduate school as assistant professor. So I came there until the school was closed. I taught there, and I came down to Orange County, and I lived in Mission Viejo, and started teaching Korean language at the UCI. And still I have, because my background is a teacher, so still I have teaching Dr. Choi's Academy as a tutoring center, and my wife, Truman Math and Reading Center, and again, teaching program. That's my background. So with this background, I must say that Pacifica Institute's commitment to promoting cross-cultural awareness is a great testament to the wonderful work you do here in Irvine. By the way, you chose the name very fondly. I love Pacific Institute. Pacific is the ocean I crossed. So Pacific encompasses so many countries in there. Turkey, I don't know how you have a relevance with the Pacific, but the name you chose very well. It's a very familiar, friendly term. Your support of our community makes it a better place for everyone. 2 months ago, I was privileged to give my first State of the City address. What I would like to do is to talk about that, as I mentioned, one area highlighted in my speech, and one that I think will be interest to you if, as a resident of Irvine, and then also as well as in Orange County. And then we'll open up, if we do have time, some question and answer session. Support for public libraries is something that is near and dear to my heart because I got my master's degree in library science and the doctoral library in information science. And with that, I can say I love libraries. For a long time, I have spoken of the need for a city library in Irvine, a great metropolitan central library. We are appreciative of the 3 county branch libraries that we have in Irvine. But we need one that we can call our own. Just to think of the library that you grew up with. Perhaps you do have similar libraries in villages or cities in Turkey as well. They are the places of learning. They are central gathering places here, at least as I experience in America. Like a nearby Newport Beach Public Library. Go to Cerritos Public Library. Just crowded. It's a central gathering place. I have, and my two children educated in our fine public schools here in Irvine did not have a place to go outside of our home to study. So they ended up in coffee houses and the bookstores, like Barnes & Noble. We need to do better for this generation and future generations to come. I am dreaming of a grand library with the iconic and monumental architectural library. The library should be equipped with the most technologically advanced features, such as computers for public use, community seminar rooms, many individual and group study rooms for all levels of our students, quiet music listening rooms, art exhibit halls, even a food court, and Starbucks or Pete's coffee shops. We have already secured a library site at our Orange County Great Park, which is a part of the master plan. So already we have the land, perhaps about half of the cost that we can think about. If we dream big, we can do it. We can achieve it without raising a penny of your new tax money. In fact, libraries are the hearts of our communities. And I have found that there is no problem in library card that can't solve. That is a gateway to all the information and the problem solving. So secure your library card. I would like to use a quote by a noted industrialist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, Andrew Carnegie, who said, "A library outranks any one thing a community can do to benefit its people." This is from a man who was not a librarian, an author or educator. It is from one of the most successful businessmen the world has ever known. Here is my vision. A library should be the heart of the city, particularly in Irvine, which we claim as an education town. It is where the best and the brightest of the all ages gather to learn, to imagine, and teach. It provides the location for the high school students looking for the perfect study area, or the professionals who is researching the next big business ideas. It is a place that you never forget, so it becomes a place that you always return to. When you walk into a library that serves as the heart of your community, you feel the energy beneath your feet and the wings of the opportunity. You know that the place you have come to is the place where you were meant to be. A library is truly home to everyone. The library that I envision at the Orange County Great Park will be the kind of a place that explains not only who you are as a community, but what we can become. The public library is one of the great strongholds of democracy. What the world of tomorrow will be like is greatly dependent on the power of imagination in those who are learning right now, today. For years, it has been predicted that the libraries would become outdated, just old places for books. As the argument goes, so much is now available online, some people say. Indeed, the fact is that the library visits now far exceeds annual attendance at the sports events, concerts, and the museums combined. It turns out that every electronic revolution that was supposed to make libraries obsolete has made them indispensable. Where can you go when you do not have access to the computer? The library offers computer services, scanning, printing for its users. Children can play games on computers in the children's section, and they can do homework. If your computer crashes and you are in limbo, the library can provide internet service for you. So, are public libraries a thing of the past? The answer is a clear and resounding no. There is no doubt that the libraries must adapt to changing times and the needs, but the new technology and the digital advances do not negate the need for one-on-one human contact, nor will they ever. Libraries are not for readers only. They are a place to go to get involved in the community. They are a place to meet other people with similar interests. They often serve as a town center, similar to this. And today, interlibrary loan systems which allow patrons to borrow from other libraries, even internationally, have broadened the number of titles that are readily accessible. Computer classes are now being offered at many libraries for beginners to advanced users. So here in Irvine, I am proposing the formation of the Irvine Library Foundation for community participation in this endeavor. And you'll be welcome to participate in that foundation's mission, such as raising necessary capital funds. Earlier, I quoted Andrew Carnegie, so I will end. I couldn't agree more. How about joining me and supporting my vision? Thank you. I hope I sold my vision for library, and you become all the supporters of my dream library. Since I have a very precious opportunity here, I want to also change my focus from library to culture. Next May 18th, Saturday, from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, at the Irvine Civic Center Plaza, there will be Irvine Korean Cultural Festival. All the cultural performances and the food, you'll be there. You are all invited, and share our joy and celebrate with us. Irvine is the place as certainly melting pot of the world. So many diverse cultural background, ethnic background. We come to play in one place and learn to each other, just like I'm learning today of a cultural heritage and the culture, so that with a mutual high level of understanding, we can live in peace and harmony. That's the purpose. And thank you. If I can answer, I'll be happy to answer any question on the library or any culture aspect or civic government issues and or my personal questions, unless you ask me in my bank account. Is there any question? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm a first-generation immigrant, and as yourself, and Irvine citizen about 22 years. Thank you for sharing your experience, and especially about the libraries. I have a question. You eloquently compare libraries attendance to other institutions. My question is, how much library attendance affected by internet? I know you explained it, but comparing apple to apple.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Libraries and current libraries.
Yeah. I can. Yeah.
Especially for structure.
Yeah.
Library structure.
I can. Yeah. I think I know your essence of the question. Many people raise that similar question. Now at your fingertips, just Google it. You will find the information. Exactly. Who needs a library? That's some people do raise that question. And I visited about 7 or 8 libraries last year to see how they are doing and library layouts and programs, so including Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Santa Monica, and Cerritos, several other vicinity libraries. And they all told our group, I went there with about 7, 8 different staff members and architects, etc. Amazingly enough, contrary to your question, the library use is increasing every year. So library is not the place only to find the pieces of information you can find at the Google or whatever internet has. So I think that is, like I mentioned here, that is becoming cultural center, gathering place. You can relax, and there can be theater like this, and cultural film can be shown in there. Study carols, individual ones, 4 or 5 seminar groups, even 10, medium-sized study carols. We are the education town, and our schools are doing excellent job, sending our students to, first-rate colleges, Ivy Leagues, etc. But do you think they can study at the small branch libraries where children around, they have no proper space? So as I mentioned, like my son and the daughter, luckily, for some strange reason, we lived in a rather large house, their own rooms. It's not because of lack of their own room. Some reason they do not study at home. They want to go out. If you not go to UCI library, you got to pay, at that time was $7 or $8, a parking fee, right? And so UCI was not the choice. Public library was not the choice. The only place that they ended up was Barnes & Noble or a coffee shop, Starbucks, places like that where children can gather. So coffee shops can be in that library itself. It becomes a community center. It could be food court area. Many different cultural. I would love to have one room like this dedicated for history room for Irvine. I want to maintain the Irvine company history, how they came about. There are many, many things that we can do if we had that facility. But any function like a children's reading program, a parental seminar that I'm going to have like an autism kids seminar. I am proposing inviting Dr. Shane from Harvard University is going to be this month in May in the Civic Center. We can have that kind of a seminar in there. So many things we can do, but all the program is a function of the space. I don't think you can have this kind of program unless you have this space. So space is very, very important. Yes, sir.
I'm delighted to hear your support of the library system.
I'm glad.
I'm a frequent user of the University Park Branch Library. And as you observed, as I observed, it's a very busy place. There are always people using the computer terminals. There are language programs scheduled. There are all kinds of activities going on all day long in the library. What I'm confused about is your interest in a library, a big library in the Great Park. And what you talked about is a need for a library within bicycle distance of your children's access, which, by the way, exists at University Park. I don't know why they didn't go there. But to have a library at the Great Park that most people in the city cannot get to except by car seems to be the reverse trend. I'd rather see you beefing up the local libraries and perhaps adding more that are closer. So why do you think we need a centralized library in this day of networked and dispersed facilities?
Yeah, excellent point. In fact, I am not abandoning neighborhood libraries. In my plan, in fact, we do have plans for more regional neighborhood libraries where newly being developed areas. 3 branches right now scattered in the earlier older town areas, but new areas is lacking. So neighborhood library has its own function. Just stop by, and it's a lot easier because distance does matter. So we need to expand geographically. Should be within 3 miles, from your own home. Anything more than 3 miles, no matter how good it may be, you may have different things in the central metropolitan size. But small-scale libraries, you cannot do the visions that I described. So metropolitan size library has its own mission and functions. And the small neighborhood libraries will have its own, tasteful, service areas. So I'm not abandoning that idea. In fact, I want to include, expand more neighborhood libraries. Any other? Somebody had, yeah. Okay.
Dr. Choi, I'm curious how you were on city council in a minority for so many years. You must have had so many things brewing how you wanted to envision Irvine. So we see that you started that immediately. And when I hear of the library, I think of openness and access of information. So I don't understand what happened to the transparency that now major decisions are held without the full council attending.
I don't quite understand your point. Our city council is open, always open council meeting. And I think what you are referring to is the restructuring of the Great Park Board of Directors. Is that what you are referring to?
Well, it seems there's just of course, a political party is different, so your ideas and agendas are different. Even something as simple as signing a gun.
It's essentially you are speaking of the keyword, transparency. In government nowadays, everything is transparent. You cannot do business in the behind the scene. We do have certain topics that the government allows to be in the closed session, such as the legal actions, like litigation issues, and personnel issues of that nature. Very limited areas you can do in the closed session, but we have to report out. Anything else is you cannot. When you have you heard about the Brown Act? Brown Act is some people may understand. We do have 5 people on the city council, so the decision will be made by the majority 3 out of 5 are considered to be majority. So 3 people cannot talk each other on the items on the agenda. You cannot even, I talk to second person and this person will talk. That's not possible either. So 2 people, okay, because it's a minority. So we cannot even discuss. And if you get caught, you may pay fine or even go to jail, depending upon severity. So our public meeting has to be announced, like 48 hours, 72 hours before, and all agenda is agendized. So Great Park structure from 9 board members we reduced it to 5 members. The reason was that 5-member city council had the veto power for any amount like 10,000, 20,000. So the Great Park Board was a recommendation body. It's an advisory council. So any decisions which were made by the board was re-agendized to the city council, and the city council had to approve it. But that the 9 board member board was not quite functioning as an independent body. It was only one leader advocating. Everybody was voting for that idea. Only me and my colleague at that time now is Christina Shea and Jeff Lalway on my side. But up to last year was Christina Shea and myself. No, Christina Shea was 2 years off. Before that time, only she and I served. So no matter how much we raised the questions, just railroaded, and they just rubber stamped and at the city council. But this time, city council, luckily on my side, I am on the majority. So think about it, 9 board members will decide and make a recommendation against this city council majority after speaking 4, 5, 6 hours, coming here, and if we reject it, what a wasteful time spending at the Great Park, because the vision is totally different. So it's a matter of efficiency. And the quality of independence was not there, because I haven't seen anyone there voting differently from one person's, which I'm not going to mention, one person's agenda and the leading. So they were there as like a voting machines. So that's the reason for practical purposes and then also efficiency purposes. But still, the Great Park meets at the 2 o'clock on 4th Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. So that session, you are welcome to come and you can speak. We do have a 3-minute public session, speaking session. You can say anything you want and it's still open. So not transparent from to the public is I think that's a misspoken concept. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, you had the question. Yeah.
Dr. Choi, you mentioned the foundation. I think. Yes, sir. What are the plans for? And you also mentioned that you were seeking support for this very inspiring idea. What is the funding plan? Is this from federal, county, state money, bond issue, increase in taxes, fees for the residents? How will it be funded? And then when quickly, what deadline are you shooting for? When might it?
Okay, thank you for that very important key point in building such a grand library. Without the necessary capital fund, the dream cannot be achieved. Here is my plan. Number one is that I mentioned that I would not impose any new tax upon the citizens, okay? that is my plan. What I've done was that we are utilizing your taxes much, much better. Currently, 3 branch libraries that we have in Irvine belong to Orange County Public Library System. And that is governed by Orange County Public Library Advisory Board, of which I am a member. And they make recommendations. It's not administrative body. They make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors, okay? And then everything county librarian does with the limited budget she gets, Helen Freed, from the county government, she runs. And guess what? Irvine's contribution to Orange County Public Library System's budget is 16% or more. We have 3 branches, and the operational cost, not counting the overhead, the county library tried to calculate that overhead, but that's a totally different the debate we can have. 3 branch library operation cost is a little over $3 million per year. Do you know how much we donate to the county system? If you are Irvine citizens, your property tax share, which are supporting the library, your tax dollar portion over $5 million or, so total is more than $8 million we are paying to the system, and only $3 million comes back. Or how much is left? Over $5 million left. That is supporting other city libraries. Do you think that's good deal? Your tax dollars serving Garden Grove, Stanton, Brea, that takes up, okay? And I said, enough is enough. We've been so generous. City has our vision for meeting our standard. Our required square foot per capita. One person should have a certain square foot of library. My vision is 0.866 square foot per person per capita. Other better areas like Cerritos or Pasadena, they have more than 1 square foot per capita. Guess what? Orange County's current standard, and then also Irvine's current status is 0.2 square foot per capita. And then our general plan, our vision, our city's vision is 0.5. So 0.2, we have a goal to go to 0.5. And my idea standard is 0.866 square foot per capita. Why did it come up with that figure? That was a result of Irvine City's Advisory Library Committee. They did a regional study, and they recommended that will be comparable to neighboring cities. That happens to be same as Newport Beach. Newport Beach has a 0.86, and we made it a little bit bigger, 0.866 square foot per capita. So it will be comparable. Okay, why can't we build, Newport Beach can build and enjoy. You can go there, over 1 million people are visiting Newport Beach Public Library. So enough is enough. So what city to city we agreed upon, and then I advocated through the Irvine Public Library Board of Directors, and then eventually supervisors, is that as of last year, we kept Irvine number of homes, I believe somewhere close to 86,000 households. We'll pay you as we have been paying the library share to Orange County Public Library, so that your budget will not be negatively impacted. However, new homes we are building, currently, as you know, we have a lot of new homes currently being built and you can buy. Those new homes, average homes are like $1 million. And $1 million, 1% is a basic tax, right? That's $10,000 of a new tax being generated, but thousands of the homes are being added annually. So any new tax base as of last year will not add to the pothole of Orange County Public Library general fund. We'll set it aside, and it'll grow. And when it grows, we will have our separate asset, and that's what we're gonna use. And in 10 years, we are projecting, not much like $10 million conservative, but because it'll exponentially grow and has ability, tax will be annually charged, so it has a revenue stream. So therefore, we can float the bond, which will allow us at least somewhere $50 million. So $50 million is, but it's not enough for that kind of I'm dreaming of at least 200,000 square foot library. And if you multiply 200,000 times 500 or 600, 700 dollars per square foot, I mean, it becomes 120 million or plus. So the other remaining will have to be raised or diverted from wasteful spending, because the government has a lot of money, but not necessarily they are usefully. It's a matter of priority. Like we gave a 6% pay raise for our employees because they did not have a raise for a long time, and that cost minimum like $500,000 to $1 million. One time 1% is over $1.1 million who gave a 1% raise to our employees. So that's one example. So there are some certain reprioritizing we can generate a certain $1 million, and the remainder will have to be raised. That's the reason I'm forming Irvine Library Foundation, such as your company and the philanthropist or Irvine company or naming rights, will Tajian Library will be nice, right? So naming rights, etc. So that will make up the remainder. So this is a rough 3 areas: tax special account, and reprioritizing certain money, and community fundraising. Those are 3 scales that I have. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I teach a class at the Heritage Park Library and Culturalization. The students range from ages 7 to over 80. They come from 20 countries, from the Sudan, Korea, South America, Europe.
So you are librarian at the Heritage
Yes.
Library? Oh, I see.
How in the hell are they going to get to the Great Library in my Great Park? It's a boondoggle. If you can't find a way to get somebody there and make it accessible, it can be the most wonderful building on earth that can have the greatest resources. Tell me how you're going to provide accessibility, and I'll be behind you. Otherwise, boondoggle.
I know this access point is very, very important. Right now, it's very limited. Marine Way by the freeway, that's not even, you cannot even find very well. It's not good. Our main entrance will be through Trabuco. Trabuco is wide, but right now the entrance is being developed by 5-point communities. And once it's built, our hope is that by this October 3rd through 13th, we're going to have an International Collegiate Solar Decathlon, which we anticipate over 100,000 visitors to Irvine. This is a solar home building competition by international colleges and universities, and 20 universities will compete, and for the first time outside of Washington, D.C. So Great Park has been chosen. So to accommodate that kind of people, we are collaborating with the 5 Point communities, and they are working so hard to finish that Trabuco entry. Once Trabuco's entry, main entry is completed, to the right, using O Club area, O Street, and the C Street, that will connect to the cultural center we are envisioning. And then also the other access point will be Irvine Station area. That will become, they have not quite decided whether they're going to have overpass or underground connection from train station to the Great Park. So that village is going to be 5 Point communities is envisioning as like a very high density and the European style. They will be full of life and nightlife, fun place to go to, vibrating, entertainment area, and then also residential area will be not too far off from that area. So 5 Point communities is the vision, and then our access points of transportation. The Marine Way will be straightened up, will be improved definitely, and then also the other one will be from Irvine Boulevard access. So there's a high school, 5th high school is being built. So from that Irvine Boulevard area, Trabuco and the Marine Way and the train station. So large areas among any other smaller ones may be bit, but there will be 4 major accesses. So there will be, we are fully aware of that access.
There'll be a way to get there, and I'll go behind you.
Yes, I will let you know. Yes, sir.
I have the strange feeling, I voted for you.
Oh, God bless you.
I like your platform, and I have the strange feeling that we agree on the first and second line, and don't seem to get beyond that in agreement. So what you said a few minutes ago was there should be a library within 3 miles of every home. I have not heard that as an Irvine priority. What we said was we want a cost-effective way to build the Great Park, and what I've heard is trashing the $100 million we invested in planning the Great Park for a new plan. We've heard of a lot of energy behind prayer in the city council meetings, which is irrelevant to any of the priorities. So I really have the feeling we agree on the top line and can't get the third line in sync. You want to comment on the other priorities and how you see things like local?
I don't know why you are saying that. I haven't heard anything from our policymaker leadership that we have abandoned our plan. Our master plan is there. Only thing that has disappeared was that the most importantly, the California government, Mr. Jerry Brown, he abolished redevelopment agency. Cities had the right to form redevelopment district in the blighted area to be revitalized, and by redeveloping the new tax base will be converted into that district. So we were anticipating $1.4 billion of a revenue stream from tax increments. Tax increments meaning that the new homes are developed and the taxes will be generated. So tax will be generated means that they use a strange term, tax increments, and that amount to be like $1.4 billion. But guess what? That the rug was pulled, below or beneath our feet. So money base disappeared. And the $200 million that we got cash from Lennar in the beginning, along with the property, the 1,347 acres. And then, as I said, we have only 200 acres developed and about 1,200 acres still undeveloped. And $200 million evaporated as of June 30th of this year. We are anticipating only $21 million left. Do you think you can build the remaining park with $21 million? No. Do you know how that the money has been evaporated? Basically parties, 67 different programs. You name it, I cannot even name them more. Chess tournaments, Friday dance parties, all the, the concerts, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, free balloon ride. Balloon rides $1.2 million per year. Carousel costing about $400,000 per year. And we wanted to recoup some of that money. You know what? Those riders happen to be 70% or more out-of-towners. Who's responsible for building the park? Irvine residents. The park's mission is, I know that's Orange County Park. Anybody of the country or nation, when it's built, that they can come in and enjoy. But nobody will give us the money to build the park. We, the city, is responsible to build the park. But those $200 million, 70% or more, were all spent for entertaining largely out-of-town people. I mean, if I offer free hamburger every day, people will gather. A year later, if I stop it, they will complain to me, where's my free hamburger? You know, you used to give me free hamburger, why don't you give? That's what's going on. Oh, you used to be free, why don't you charge? But where else other than Irvine can you go, even the Spectrum or any other park, even France? France has the same idea, same balloon. Can you ride the balloon in France free of charge? This is a non-economic, so the mentality is very different. The focus is very different. Are you committed entertaining continuously and the use of the money and the neglect the building the party? But my focus is building the park first. If you build the park, people will come. So that's the policy difference. So which one you support is up to you. I cannot force it, but at least that's my vision. Build a park, people will come. Yes, sir.
Mr. Choi, 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
My question is not to Dr. Choi or Mayor Choi, so you can take a different title. Just ask you about your success as a Korean in the U.S. There's a booming Turkish population right now in especially LA area, and you came here decades ago, and you have eyewitnessed the progress of Korean population here. Right now, Koreans, own great businesses, and it's a very strong, very vibrant community in the U.S. and especially in LA. What were the milestones and what were the legal battles that Koreans won in becoming a great community here in California? And what did you do right? What did you do wrong, in your opinion? And what would you recommend to Turkish community here, like to be at least like as successful as Koreans in the coming years or decades? And by the way, I will do that free air ride before you abolish that. That's a good thing to know.
Thank you very much. Diverting my blood boiling issue to the more easy area. I think that's what should have been our focus of cultural and our the pains and agonies and experience as mostly immigrants, either you are first generation or second generation. Certainly, my journey has been a long one, but enjoyable one. And as a person sharing Korean heritage, I can speak on behalf of their characteristics and the personality. I think you have noticed it's among so many ethnic backgrounds, it's hard to kind of notice. Even Irvine alone in this city, unofficially and probably inaccurate, there could be more, 65 different languages are being spoken at homes. So that means Irvine is a melting pot. people from all walks of life, all different cultural and ethnic, background. Among them, noticing Korean story is not easy, so that's why recognizing Korean people, you must have, you have some friends. Koreans in general, I kind of share your observation. They have achieved financially very well in short immigration history. I came in 1968, not as an immigrant, but as an employee of U.S. government. Even at that time, only few selected people were able to come. Primarily two reasons I can say. Number one was government's oppression over people. They simply would not let people go out of the country. I don't know what their logic was. No, you are mine, don't leave. Stay here. So only few selected, whatever government connection or passing your study abroad program, only few selected people were able to go overseas. I was lucky one. I was selected one of 18 among 850 people who took written exam and oral exam training, passing, and eventually I came here. So that the layer was not easy. So I guess I was one of the chosen two. So very few people were here. Up until I would say mid-1970s, and starting to grow immigration. So now it then has exploded. And when I came to USC to teach 1976, even at that time, there were only few Korean businesses on Olympic, and so that far. And so 1980s picked up so high. But now, if you go any city, you will see vibrant Korean business community, and then Irvine is certainly attraction like Turkish or Iranians, Indians, Chinese, Japanese, and they all come here for only one reason, is quality of education, good schools. So they emphasize the children's education, because in Korea, small, tiny territory, so many people, the competition is so severe. So you gotta go to not just college, top-ranked college, 1 or 2 or 3, then you can be somebody. So, it's a very limited. That's the reason parents will, from even the child is in the stomach, they start teaching, some kind of programs, and kindergarten on education. How much they invest their children, asking education. So think about it. Your telephone, I can bet half of your telephone you're holding is made in Korea. Samsung or some sort of LG or some sort. Do you think uneducated engineers can make those kind of things? It requires a tremendous amount of knowledge to make things work, right? Hundreds of different pieces of the equipment and software goes in. And that requires education. So I think finally South Korea is enjoying the fruits of that competitiveness through education. So even myself, if I didn't get my doctoral degree, I don't think my friends nearby encouraged me to run for school board. I refused. I have no desire to be a politician or anything, but oddly enough, the gentleman who sat on the Great Park Board of Directors, Mr. Waki Ray, was my landlord of my school tenant. I was a tenant, and he's a Stanford University graduate, and he knew what I was doing and the quality of education I was teaching kids, and then also I had my doctoral degree and teaching at the university, is, hey, Steve, we need you. I will support you and run for school board. He was the one who planted my first political bug in me. And we ended up serving on the same board of directors. So very, cycle of life was very interesting. I think that I can devote the education. And secondly, they are very hardworking people because they have lived very bottom line hardship. Korea was under, for 36 years, under Japanese occupation. They were, we talk about the Jewish people, how they were tortured and, massacred. Similar, which not too many world people know about the Korean history. Under Japanese occupation, 36 years, so they have gone through. Right after that, the Korean War, during which time Turkish soldiers came to save our lives, and still country has been saved. So they know hardship, so they don't mind hardship, working hard to accomplish it. So anywhere they go, in fact, I came to this country with $50. I'm not going to brag myself, but with the $50, how can you educate yourself to get a master's degree, PhD, and Irvine houses are average of $1 million, right? I'm going to invite you to Chamber of Commerce business luncheon, May 21st at the Hyatt Hotel, 11:30. I'll be speaking on my business speech to hundreds of businessmen. In there, I'm going to reveal my secret. And before I reveal my secret to them, I'm going to reveal my secret here. I sold ice cream on the street in New York Street because I didn't have money, but I wanted to study. I needed tuition money. I didn't mind. And I worked as a busboy at the hotel, PL. Along the way, there are many testimonies that I can say. God somehow mysteriously, guided me as a religious testimony I can do. Like nowhere in the middle of walking, like a taxi cab pulled over. Hey, get on, are you still looking for a job? I didn't know. Now I would not go in there. How would you get into somebody's taxi without even calling? I hopped in and he guided me and dropped me off. Go this area, this is the place, you can find a job. I think that must be an angel. And then suddenly I landed, I went in to go to the hotel. I found a job there. I worked at the hotel. So couldn't speak much English. I could not take notes. You know how I studied? Taking notes at the graduate school, trying to get, now I speak a little English, but at that time I couldn't understand, all the southern drawl and accents. My professor was not writing down anything like that. All talking like I'm doing, no visual effects, And I couldn't take notes. So I bought a carbon thing, and the next door, pretty girl, hey, would you mind to put the carbon, under your note? And she was writing, and then I took the one I read, and every the word I couldn't, and then I had to find it. So that kind of a pain, hard work, they don't mind hard work. So many people, like the millionaires or billionaires, many people didn't mind cleaning the buildings like this. And then if you go to liquor stores like LA, and like dry cleaning stores, about 60–70% of them are hardworking Korean people. That's what they say. Anything that the Jewish people have gone through, they are leaving and they're going up the next level. Koreans are taking over. Koreans are like Asian Jews, hardworking. So I think two work ethics, work ethics and education. I think are two ingredients. Yes, sir.
I appreciate your hard work and also your dedication, also running for our city. I'm Irvine resident, and also I work in Irvine. My home and workplace is not too far from each other, just 2 miles. So I decided to actually go to commute to work by riding my bike. So, and one
you had what?
There was an uneven sidewalk and somewhere on the street, and I reported on the same day to city, just saying that, if it's possible to get it fixed. So when I was coming back from work to home, I saw it was patched, and I was notified by the nice lady saying that, just via email, saying that the sidewalk was going to be replaced. Actually, mentioned that was just temporarily just fixed, and she informed me that it's going to be fixed within 2 weeks, and now it's actually fixed. But I was glad to receive an email from your side on the same night, the day I sent an email to notify the city there was uneven sidewalk. So I just wanted to say thank you for your dedication and effort.
Yeah, that's another aspect. I am so, impressed when I became the city councilman, how the city tries to be responsive, even single letter or email, phone call citizens make. They personally follow up. I don't think you can find that kind of a personalized service in any other city. I lived in many different places, but I never, interacted or I even paid any attention to, governing body or council. So I don't even know how other cities are, doing. But I can dare say it'll be very hard to match or beat the personalized service like a city of Irvine is doing, and we are so proud of that. But good to hear. Yeah.
We are over our time.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Maybe
So
we can continue our conversation
yeah, sure.
on social art.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.